I'm the Real Ted G, and thanks for joining me on my podcast, the Real Ted G Podcast. And today, I end up with another very special guest, Neil, and I can't pronounce your name right.
Neil Samaroo.
Thanks for coming on to my podcast. Is this this is your first podcast?
This is my first podcast, yes. And
Neil made a really good point. He actually saw a few of the podcasts, and he reached out to me on Instagram, and he said, "Oh, dude, I'm going to misquote you. When can I be on the podcast?" I said, "Oh, I didn't realize people didn't automatically assume. Just request the time. Just say, 'Oh, Ted, I'd love to do the podcast.'" I love that. I think that's amazing. I don't know if you thought that my podcasts are enjoyable, or the best part is I think Neil has a lot of great stuff that he could share. I also know Neil from we have a Orange Theory Fitness common ground as well. So Neil, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
And thank you for reaching out.
Of course.
I appreciate that. And tell us a little bit about yourself. You have a pretty interesting background, right?
I think now we all know I go to Orange Theory with you almost every morning and every week.
Let's hope that's not the most interesting thing about you.
I'm a business major at Farmingdale State College. I didn't have the best performance heading into college after high school. I'm 25 years old. My first 4 years at Suffolk, I didn't have my license. I think in college you need resources, or you need to find a way to keep you happy in college, because mentally, with all the reading, it can put a lot of stress on you. I didn't have the resources at that time that I have now.
So you went to college?
I was at Suffolk.
Okay.
If I had to bring out my transcript, it would be, oof.
So you went for a business degree, right?
I was a liberal arts major at the time. Okay. So it just like going on a transit bus, going to school, and then going back home. That was my life every day, and I wasn't content with it. There was other parts that was just frustrating about it. Just again, not having that freedom to drive, and you wait on that bus, you have to wait for the next bus if you miss it. Well, if you have a car, just leave on your own time. I was procrastinating a lot at home. The way I would procrastinate when I go home is how people mostly would go on their phones. I would do chores around the house until 10, 12 a.m. and then I got tired after that. And there was other strategies on how I was procrastinating. I'm
a fellow procrastinator, and procrastinating is actually some people say it's a perfectionist quality that you're procrastinating because you want to get everything just right. I don't know where I definitely am considered a procrastinator, and I'm not going to argue anyone's point. But there's nothing wrong with it. We just have to learn to work around it.
Yeah. I'll go home, dishes, something around the house to keep me away from my homework.
Yeah. You have to fix it. I would clean my whole office if I really was putting something off that I just don't want to do. I would clean my whole office desk. I'd probably get the Windex out and be like, I'd polish the windows and everything, and then I'd be like, okay, now I can be ready. But, yeah, is that kind of thing you're thinking?
Totally, if it's a good way of procrastinating, like cleaning up a house or cleaning up an office, you feel happy after that.
It makes sense. It's a productive thing.
I'm not on my phone. I'm not doing other weird stuff.
Yeah.
You sometimes in that time period, you would see me. I would spend 2 hours folding clothes just to stay away from my homework. But I think I'm getting more fitness now compared to back then. I think that's what I needed. I was not mentally wise. I was in a good spot. And around August of 2019, for years growing up as a Hindu, going to church every Sunday, I didn't really understand it. I always wanted to convert to Christianity, and I've always wanted to go to a Christian church. And when you visit a Christian church for the first time as a non-Christian, you are exposed to stuff in that room for 4 hours that you don't have to speak about, but it's very mind-blowing. August 2019, so I had a 1.7 in college. I was working at Chipotle for 15 hours a week, and I didn't have my license or my 5-hour course, and my laptop charger was gone for months. So those 4 things I kept the back of my head going in on a Friday, and again, I did not expect certain events to happen. I stayed humble and I started to do Bible study. My first Bible they gave to me.
So you went to Christian church?
Yeah. And there was stuff in that.
And it's really interesting that you mentioned that. It is great. I mean, there's different religions, and it is great that maybe sometimes something inside you is craving a specific type of support, a specific type of.
There was like this light at the end there was like this light in the tunnel that I saw when I walked in. Like I knew this was my thing. For years I wanted to do this, and I feel like I finally got that wish. We sang songs, we did prayers, and it was just the stuff we did in that room it was like from 8 to 11 p.m. We stayed there for a while. It was someone else. It wasn't like a public church. It was someone else's church. The color on the wall, it was like a beautiful gray.
So is that part of the reason then you got involved with the Army program?
I was done when I got my associates in 2022. I knew I was going to Farmingdale, but I didn't want to pay $6,000 a semester, and I wanted a better future and guaranteed a job on the long run. So I joined the Army because Guard pays for SUNY schools 100%. They have covered my tuition this semester. I'm literally only paying for my textbook and fees.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a very smart decision.
After I had my associates, when I plan stuff, I plan like 2 years prior. I don't just like do this stuff last minute, and everything played into factor when I met my recruiter. Now this is going to be really interesting. So me and my trainer, who's trained me for football since I was a kid, we walked in a sauna at Unique Fitness in Farmingdale, and when you can't even tell if the other guy's Army, when you're wearing civilian clothes, you can't even tell what they are. You can't So the three of us, we met this guy in the sauna, and we don't know. My trainer knew he was Army. I didn't know. We're just having a normal conversation, and then he gives me the recruiter look. So I'm sitting like right there, and this is him. So we look into your future, like the robot, hook and sinker. And
I do that with real estate people.
So we're looking through your future.
So it goes like this. So it would be like,
I was like,
you have to like turn your head like really fast. Like
I met him like the month before I passed the final class I had to take to get the associates, which is very hard to do. Suffolk County Community College to get an associates from there, and that's a really good school. I was in a winter course of 3 weeks, probably one of the hardest classes I took, and I got lucky. But when he spoke to me in that sauna, I wound up being in his office the next day. I told my dad. He wasn't excited about it, even though he's a Navy guy for 6 years, because I just met this guy. I didn't know anything about deployments or what's actually going to happen. But there were meetings. I was going through a process, and I felt very comfortable with him. I developed a great relationship with my recruiter. We still talk even when I came back home from training.
So tell us a little bit about it. So now you're actually a recruiter, right? Are you an Army recruiter?
I don't know if I'll get in trouble with what.
Well, I get in trouble because I did absolutely no research for this interview. So
I love, I love breaking fourth walls. If I recruit people, I do get paid for that, and I do get my rank up for that. I have 3 people going through the process right now. I'm not a recruiter, however, I'm allowed to recruit people and get paid for it and help them with their future. I have met people who found themselves in the black hole heading into college. And when I reached out to him, we know each other from Suffolk, and I'm always looking out for people that are not at the peak of their career. And my goal is to help people get to that, like in a situation where I was in, where my mentor found me, and I was not at the best spot in my life.
Right, and, at a good spot, at a good place in life, not so much career. I think life means so much more than career. Yeah. And oddly enough, if you're in a good spot in life, it's amazing how parts of your career end up taking off, making make it look easy.
I was in Amway. I am not that active as I was, but what I liked about my mentor, he fed me with business books. I used to hate reading. I love reading now. And I feel like with college, you need to read, like you need to have a muscle memory, reading books on the side to help you with those SE assignments. I went from having 1.7 to 2.5, which is great, which is an accomplishment to me. What else? When I came back to school in the fall, so the church in August 2019, when I went back to Suffolk in the fall 2019, my road test I passed. My GPA went up, and I went from having a Chipotle job, 15 hours, to a 40-hour job at Walmart. I was there for 2 years while I was at Suffolk, from my last years at Suffolk. And I'm not a big spender. When I have my checks, I use that very wisely. I would watch people Uber out to Patchogue and spend a whole checks on drinks. I've never once did that. Me,
Oh, we won't get started on how much it costs to drink in Patchogue.
No. Me,
I went to a bar in Patchogue years ago, and I said, "Wait a minute,
why am I wasting
this
my time?"
looks no." I said, "This looks like Manhattan prices." No. I mean, hey, good for them. They built up the main street, and it's nice that we know we have somewhere you can go have a drink if you want.
Yeah. Me, I'm a beer person. I feel like drinks can, like, if you're driving especially, you have rocket fuel or Red Bull vodka, and you go in the car, you're gonna get a DUI. Me,
well, I'm going with a dry September now, so
yeah.
Let's see what happens. It's September 1st today.
One Corona or two, and I'm good for the night. I don't know. I'm not paying to go home. I have my car in the parking lot. I'm not spending a whole check on drinks. I'm gonna have one beer and that's it.
Well, what I'm hearing is it sounds to me like you have a pretty nice discipline gene.
Yeah.
So whether it comes comes into play with money, which is great. Yeah. Oh, I wish I was I wish I was disciplined with money. I'm not even disciplined with the gym. I just know that if I go for an hour, I'll be
almost
fine.
Every day.
Sometimes twice. Yeah, I'm a big doubler.
Nice. I did that a few times and I almost passed out.
I don't know. I definitely need.
Brooke's class is very difficult.
Yeah, because
Brooke and Ashley's class.
Yeah. Oh, Ashley's great too. But Brooke pushes you. You know, she like, you know, I think we talked about this with Brooke on the show. And now you went to school with Brooke, oddly enough. Okay. So she's like, "Oh, come on, 1 more .1," or she'll say, "That's not your push speed," and I'm like, I know.
She knows your push speed. She knows your base pace. So she knows you're capable. When you're taking Brooke's class, you're guaranteed. If you're averaging like a 3-mile run every day, you're guaranteed to get that. You can't walk. She's watching you. She may be, if you're on the treadmill, she may be on the other side of the room. She's watching you.
Although
she has eyes behind her head.
A different coach, she was pushing as well in a really good way. And I feel bad because I fell off the treadmill. I don't feel bad that I fell off the treadmill. I felt bad that, you know, like if I was the coach, I'd be like, "Oh my God, fell off the treadmill." I didn't get hurt or anything.
What I loved about her class and Ashley is that they want you to accomplish, and Alyssa, they want you to accomplish so much when you go in there.
Alyssa has the best playlist. I like Alyssa's playlist. It has just enough.
3 of them are a tie when it comes to playlists.
What? Yeah,
they're all top tier. Those 3 are top tier coaches.
Yeah, they put together a good playlist. Yeah, they push us.
They know what you're capable of. They want you to go above and beyond, and they help you so much. What was I gonna say?
Let's go back to you. And so you're not an Army recruiter, but you definitely, you know.
Yeah. So currently,
you preach it because it did great for you, right?
Yeah.
It made a real difference in your life.
Yeah, so there's like enlistment, and then there's an officer route. So I get my cadet rank next week. Currently, I'm an enlistment because I got enlisted a year ago. I don't start the officer training until next week. So when I have drill, so at active has like, so there's active, there's reserve, there's National Guard. Reserve and Guard have drill once a month. Active, you're stationed away, like on the other side of the country. I want to be home. I want to be there for my mom and my little brother. I wanted my brother to have somebody with him, like take him to the gym, show him that guidance, get him to sports, like kind of like what I went through. I want to be there for him so he can grow as a person.
Well, we've had a couple of conversations in the gym, so I do remember them. And then once or twice you actually said, "Because I'm going to go and get into goals now." Do you you have actually expressed an interest in possibly getting your real estate license?
Yes. When I was taking my 7-hour course 2 years ago, at that time I was taking 5 selfie classes.
Hey, want to know how old I am, or how many years I've been around?
You're definitely
when I took the course, it was only 45 hours.
Oh man.
Yeah, now it's 75 hours. Yeah. I lucked out.
I was in a summer course. His name was Foley from Sintra Properties, but at the same time,
we don't like to advertise other realtors on this.
Never, no.
I'm kidding around. I don't mind.
I hope I didn't break another 4th wall.
The 5th wall. No, I don't mind. I like all realtors, especially if they have a mute button.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't sue me for breaking a 4th wall.
No. Oh, I gotta get on that.
I get so angry. Why'd you mention my company?
I should have NDAs. I gotta work on that. But anyway, so wait, what makes you think about real estate? Tell me why you'd want to do real estate.
I think it's a better lifestyle. Getting to know people. You're communicating with people, and with me, I love communicating, getting to know people, making them feel happy, making them get their first home, giving them a great life, just meeting them and
helping them make their great life.
Help them. You know, when they grow a family, they're in a beautiful place. I feel like I'm so shy. I don't even know what there's like a whole list in real estate.
You seem to be shy on camera. I haven't seen you shy in person though.
Oh no. When I was like live, it's like, oh no, I think I forgot what I'm going to say. I didn't want to work corporate. I wanted to go into business. I went to buy and sell houses. My uncle's an accountant, and on top of that, he also buys and sells houses. I always wanted to do that. That way, I don't have to scratch 9 to 5, 60 hours a week doing something that's just going to give me a check every 2 weeks just to pay the bills. I want to invest and build an asset off of that.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, that's 100% true with real estate. It's not 9 to 5. It's not 40 hours a week. Oh. It's more like 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and you know, it's probably like 80 hours a week for some of these agents that you see that are really successful.
Yeah, they invest a lot of their time into that because they want to learn and they want to grow.
Yeah,
that's me. When I'm given something, even if it's like a minimum wage job, I treat it like a real job. Like when I left, I used to work for the Shirley location at Amazon from October 2021 to February 2022, and I was going through the Army process. I knew I was leaving by September 2022. From February to September, I was treating DoorDash like a real job. I was treating it like a 40, 50 hour a week job because what was the point of me working for a company knowing that I'm leaving like very quickly?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even tell you to bring this up and admit that, you know, right now, because I've had other podcasts and I've gone on record and said the people that treat this like a 40, 50 hour a week job are the ones that gain success. Real estate has a really amazing byproduct. If you treat it like a 50 hour a week job in the very beginning, maybe even, I'm just going to say in the very first 3, maybe even 5 years, and that's not a long time, right? 5 years. 5 years, people pay off a car in 5 years. If you did that,
pay off their house also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The return, like unlike, let's put it this way, we're not surgeons, thank God. I'd have a high death rate. If I was a surgeon, I'd probably be 80 hours, maybe even, who knows, 80 hours a week. But you're 80 hours a week, almost like whether it's year 3 or year 23, right? In real estate, there's a very nice, interesting, amazing, almost magical return. If you treat it like a 60-hour-a-week job for 3 or 5 years,
out of that. I guarantee
you can actually do real estate. And I'm not saying that it can't be done. People go on write books about the 20-hour work week. Some people wrote, I think someone said a 3-hour work week. I mean, there are some limitations. Yes, because it's about the return on your investment, which is referral business. Yeah. Well, anyway, so side note there, just because, you know, some people do think that real estate is just, you know, a couple of hours at an open house on a Saturday, but it usually takes about, you know, 40 hours to put all that together.
Well, meetings for listings, you're learning a lot from those brokers.
Oh, my meetings? Oh, my meetings. Oh, yeah. I don't think anyone has learned anything from my meeting. No.
They probably just want to do their own thing and not listen.
Oh, well, actually, that's not entirely true. I have a lot of new agents there. One of them is actually working right now.
If I have meetings, I'm taking notes right away.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes. Like, I'm like, give me that steak. Let me put some like sprinkles on that.
Yeah, and I believe in taking notes. I just don't. I like to absorb it. If I like to absorb the meeting. If you
had a meeting and if it was like 20 people in that meeting and these 20 people are not even paying attention, and it's like, this is an opportunity to learn, like, you know, what an experienced guy's giving you. Like, again, like if I'm in a meeting, a real estate meeting with anybody, I'm putting notes because they're in the because now I'm in the shoes that they were in, and they're spending that knowledge on me so I can help people. Any meeting, like, people, you would see people on their phones, you would see people not even pay attention, and then they go home and be like, I learned something, and not even apply it. Me, I take whatever I take, I apply it so quickly.
So if I go to something like a seminar or a meeting or a training seminar, and I've gone, you know, across the country to go to these seminars, and I just try. I try to absorb the information. I do something a little different. Yeah. I just want to get at least 1 or 2 good ideas out of it, and then bring them back and actually do them. Actually implement.
Those little things turn out to be big things. Like compound effect, you learn about the 1,000 steps. Do not take 1,000 steps at a time. Take 1 step at a time. When you're in the gym, do not go for 315 and kill yourself. Start off with low weight, high reps. Yeah. When you're reading a book, start off with 2 pages. It's not bad. And you'll build to 5, you'll build to 10. When you're, a lot of people in seminars, when I was in Amway, and not that I'm taking a knock at them, but it's like you're paying a ticket to learn knowledge from people who are, you know, who get to sit at home and get paid for it.
Mm-hmm. And Amway is another sales field.
Yes.
So, you know, I don't know a lot of stuff, so feel I have to ask people to explain. I definitely don't know the memes.
I can explain.
I definitely don't get like the abbreviations that sometimes you get the text messages. I definitely have a problem with those.
Amway, why would I go buy a Red Bull when I can buy when I can buy my own energy drink and get paid for it? Why would I be a consumer and not get paid for it when I can be a prosumer and get paid for it from buying my own business? Why would I go buy Red Bull when I can buy something healthier with more B12, more oxygen, more red blood cells? Why, during the pandemic of 2020, why would I want my mom and dad waiting on those big supermarket when the supermarkets, it was huge lines during COVID. There was it was like roller coaster lines for like 20 or 200 people, and by the time you got in the store, that product was sold out. Why would I have mom and dad risk their lives having their mask on outside in the freezing cold for 2 hours just to go in the store and have those products sold out, when I can have not only supermarkets are working, essential workers such as like truck delivery drivers are also working. They were at their peak at that time because everybody's quarantined at home. Instead of them having them risk their life staying online, I had them stay on the home on the couch and have Amway laundry detergent sent to their house.
Yeah.
And then everybody at Amway, so I took advantage of that.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask. There's specific questions that I like to ask all the guests. So the first question is: there's two types of people in the world. I'm not saying you have to not like one of these people, but if you had to choose, Elvis or the Beatles?
Elvis, because I know Elvis more. I don't know that much of the Beatles, and I wish I did. So
few of my guests choose Elvis, and so I've been the odd duck out. But now at least I have a comrade. Actually, my last two guests, you and the one previous, you both chose Elvis.
I wish I got to learn more of the Beatles, but Elvis is so...
Oh, the Beatles are great. The Beatles are, I mean, like beyond talented.
Everybody knows Elvis because of his hair, his look.
Yeah.
He's like this icon. The Beatles, I'm sure they're an icon also. Again, I wish I'd spent a lot of time knowing about the Beatles, but I just... When you look at... You don't have to know... You don't have to know about singing to know Elvis. Elvis, just look at his hair. You know it's Elvis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then I always have to ask. There's three questions left. So, first question is, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Describe blue to me. 3 words. 3 different words.
The sky. I don't know if it would make sense if I say happy.
Yes, everything can make sense.
I love sad blue, just the beautiful color of it. I'm not gonna say sad.
Well, you said happy already.
Yeah.
Maybe we should put sad
bright?
in here. And bright.
Bright.
Okay. Second question. Favorite animal?
My puppy. Shih Tzu.
Dog.
Dog, yeah.
Okay.
Dogs are so lovable.
Okay, so that's 1 word. Give me 2 more. Lovable.
Caring. The dog knows you. The dog knows you.
So give me a third
soft.
adjective.
My Shih Tzu is very soft.
Okay.
When I go home, so if the dog doesn't know you, they'll bark at you when I go home. So if I knock on the door and the dog doesn't know who it is, they'll bark. And then as soon as I walk in the house, my Shih Tzu Lola would come downstairs, lay on her back.
How funny. We had a Shih Tzu named Lulu.
Lulu.
Yeah, a long time ago. All right, so now answer question 1, question 2, question 3. Picture yourself, you can close your eyes if you want to, in an all-white room. Everything is white all around you. You're wearing white.
Yep.
Now tell me, and then now you just tell me how you felt. 3 words to describe how you felt.
Where am I? Lost. I don't know if that's so I'm in a white room.
All white.
And I'm alone. Meditating. I feel like I separated myself from everybody, just like how I separated myself when I was away for training for 5 months.
There's a word. I wish I had a better vocabulary right now. There's a word for that. Not detached? No.
Yeah.
Detached? Maybe. Okay.
I felt like that when I was away.
Okay.
It feels exactly like that. White room literally felt like being away, respectively, just having that isolation for everybody, just to see, okay, I'm gonna build myself for like 5 months.
So,
coming back.
Do you want to know what these questions mean?
I would love to know.
It's a little fun Psychological exercise, apparently. Whatever. First question I asked you was favorite color. That is actually a description of how others see you. I won't repeat your answers, but you could look at them if you want. Okay.
Instead of sky, I would have said shy, but no.
Well, the second question was favorite animal. That is actually how you view you. So we had lovable and soft.
You're like a wizard. You're like a wizard from Harry Potter.
I know.
I was like, oh, that's exactly how that describes me.
I'm like a wizard. Yeah. Wait. The funny part about that is I actually.
Laughable.
I actually have. I do have a magic wand. There's a podcast about my magic wand.
Universal last week. Those wands were $60 just for a plastic.
No, I have a nice normal plastic magic wand, but I actually found it here. Like somehow it just showed up, and we needed a little magic that day, and it happened. Then I actually give out magic wands to all my agents because, anyway,
I would love
because I'm apparently a wizard. I'll give you one. I have them right here.
Spells.
Okay. The last part. The last question, you being in an all-white room, everything is white, how do you feel, is actually how you feel about death. We just lost, alone, detached. That's how someone would feel about death, depending on their personalities. So this little mini test was done to me, so I loved it. And then I did it at an office meeting.
List.
That's a pad that I got from one of my agents. I said, "Oh, listen,
I want to order that from Craigslist."
I think I got it at Staples. So that's what those three questions mean. And so far, every guest I've actually had them do that. And I only just recently realized, wait a minute, I should write their answers down, because you know how hard it is to remember the first three adjectives after you've gone through the other two questions.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's we can all improve, but I do want to kind of bring it full circle. Tell me, in your life experience, because you've had a very nice, interesting life, and you're only 25, 24. So that's great. That's amazing in itself, because you've actually gone through many different stages. I'll ask you first. The Army. The three most important things that brought to your life.
Loyalty, respect, and honor.
Okay. You've found religion, Christianity.
Yes.
Tell me,
we got
three most important things you feel that brings to your life.
I got baptized a week before graduation.
Oh, good for you.
Probably one of my best accomplishments. I wanted the certificate, but I forgot when I left the house. I feel like when you get baptized, that relationship with God just got stronger. Your relationship, He knows that you trust Him, and He can trust you, and that relationship gets more.
Wow.
After 4 years of Bible, at that time it was 3 years of Bible study. I'm at 4 years right now. When I was in basic, before basic I did Psalm, I did Proverbs. When I got to basic I did John, Matthew, Roman. I'm on. Yeah. I tried to hit as much chapters as I could. I don't treat it like a book. Like when I have this in my hand, I'm speaking to them. I don't treat it like chapter 1, chapter 25, like I'm reading a story. That is a military Bible. So my first Bible that I have received. So having your own Bible that took you on your journey, it's like having your own wand in Harry Potter. That's your wand. You don't give it away to anybody. It's not some kind of ordinary book. It's a serious thing, in my opinion. I was door dashing, and I met a single mother. The way I open up to people, like two people, when they get to know each other, it takes time. Me, I'm right off. I jump. I don't have to explain it. I put my feet in the water a lot, and it brings the best out of the other person. So I was, this lady ordered alcohol from 7-Eleven. I didn't even know it was a lady. I was just following up my DoorDash order, pick up this item from 7-Eleven, and when I came to the door and dropped it off, she, the positive vibe I give, it's so I get it back. She was a single parent, a daughter, not the best stepdad, and I asked her, I told her that my mom was a single parent, and then she had a rough life. You're a mother with a daughter. You don't need all this alcohol. And we had a long conversation. Again, not that I was lecturing her, but it's you're the only parent she has. God forbid you don't know where her dad is. And I give her a Bible that I've had during my journey. They're my, not that I'm bragging, they're my accomplishments, and I give that to her. I was passing a torch. When you're at the worst part of your life, and you're given a Bible, not guaranteed to change, but doing Bible study helps a lot, and staying humble. You never know what kind of accomplishment you can make. I didn't think I was going to be in this position 4 years ago. And then the following month, I went to basic.
Now tell me 3 things that you feel the place where I met you. So I'm going to just ask it because that's our common ground. Orange Theory Fitness. Tell me 3 things that's brought to your life.
Happiness, friends within the studio. So Stony Brook is my home studio, but I go to Patchogue because it's so convenient in my schedule. And when Brooke started coaching 2 years ago, automatically okay, this is my home studio. I know the back of my head. She knows me the back of her head. And when she coached there, I was going almost before Army. I was going there almost every day, almost 5 days a week before Army. Coming back home in February with the schedule I have, I've been very slacky a little bit. I've been going there once a week, probably not that much a week because of my schedule, and it's all time management that I still battle with. A lot of people battle time management. Everyone does. I wasn't there as much as I was last year, but when you started coaching, I felt you got to feel comfortable with the coach, especially that someone who grew up with me. How can I say no to her? How about that? Well, all the coaches there, I think they make it easy to feel comfortable. I like all of their approaches. Ashley, Alyssa. But Brooke won a trophy, so I had to bring her on the show. I was like, I'm not surprised she won Coach of the Year. Yeah. She helped so many people PR. That studio in general, it's a good vibe studio. You feel happy as soon as you walk in. The sales associates are very nice to you. Yeah. Oh, no, it is. They put together a great atmosphere. Yeah. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for reaching out and saying, hey, I'd love to be on a podcast. I think it's probably out of some people's comfort zone, although it's pretty relaxed. I don't know how other podcasts are, by the way, because I've never really done a real one. People get so shy because they're so good at communicating in person that when you're live, it's oh shoot, I forgot everything about it. Well, we're not live. Yeah. But of course, we actually I don't think we edit too much, except for maybe little snippets that we put on Instagram, but for the most part, I think the podcast just gets uploaded in its entirety. So we don't edit too much. So it's like being live. So it's not like I'm going to say, "Oh, can't say that. Let's change it." So we don't do too much of that. Yeah. But I do appreciate it, and you're kind of broke the third wall where I was thinking, oh, I hope other people know that they could reach out. It's real simple, and I'm sure some people are going to reach out to me and say, "I'd never do your podcast in a million years," and that's cool. That's okay too. So. But I'm apparently the real Ted G, except to one of my agents. I'm making him call me Mr. G because Mr. T was taken. So I'm the real Ted G. Thanks for joining us. You can find my podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and the Real Ted G podcast.